At the center of the universe, at the border between the light and the dark, stands Castle Grayskull. For countless ages, the heroes of Grayskull have defended the universe against the forces of evil. Walk through the Hall of Living Pictures and learn the history and mystery of the Masters of the Universe. Dive deep into the mythology of Eternia, Etheria, and more. For those who know the stories of Grayskull will come the power. The power to be supreme. The power to be all-knowing. The power to be Legends of Grayskull.
Hello everybody and welcome to episode 10 and a half of Legends of Grayskull, the fan podcast where we discuss the history, the mystery, the magic, and mythology of He-Man, She-Ra, Eternia, Etheria, Primus, Nordor, New Adventures, Princess of Power, Masters of the Universe, Golden Book, Ladybird Books, UK Annuals, magazines, Filmation, jet lag, anything and everything with that Mattel logo on it. I'm Matthew Dooch. That's headbanging Shawn Scavarna. Shawn, how we doing today?
I always feel like I'm just the static, like, here's this pause screen with me on it until we get to this part. So that's why I start doing my animal dance, basically.
We should do the little loading screen on your side.
Yeah, the little spinning wheel of color. Yeah.
I just figure if I can get Shawn headbanging over there that I'm doing the intro right. He's like my barometer. I'm like, I got to kick it up a notch. He's only doing half a headbang. I need a full headbang, so I need to
It's the carnival barker thing. You know, we talked about this a lot. I mean, it's like, you got that going. I don't have it in me. I'm the... Hi. We're going to talk about things tonight. Did you ever watch the IT Crowd?
Fun. I've seen clips on Facebook. I've never watched a full episode.
Well, the one really geeky guy on it is Moss, and he has a board game show he puts online, and it's him and three other guys, and it's basically they start the show off going board game, and the whole thing is that, and everybody is just like, oh my god, please stop making me watch this stuff, and they're like that, and I'm like, well, at least if I'm animated, I'm not doing board game all the time right next to you while you're doing your carnival barker stuff. So there you go. Yeah, tonight on Masters of the Universe. Have the fire. We've talked about that. I want to have the fire here. I want to have a smoking jacket one day. I'm going to say, welcome.
One of those big red chairs, with the big
the big red leather on it. Yeah. Exactly. Have the pipe. Good evening. I didn't notice you there. Oh, I'm reading my Masters of the Universe Omnibus. Please join me. We're taking this to levels it doesn't need to right now at 11 o'clock. I'm doing pretty darn good. How are you today?
We're doing great. It was a day off. We're getting to do the podcast, so we are all good here. I do want to say, I'm painting myself into a corner now because I know I said I was going to get to that giveaway over the weekend. Obviously, I did not. Kind of when I was recording. Mainly, I forgot about it being Easter that weekend, so did not end up being a good weekend for giveaways. So I am going to do it. It will have been done by now, I promise. So I want to say congratulations to the winner, because I'm going to do it right before this show premieres. So if you're watching this and you haven't seen who the winner of the Funko Pops are, go ahead, check on our YouTube channel. It's waiting there for you. That is my promise. And if I paint myself into a corner, I will have to do it tomorrow night. So, congrats to the winners.
This is why the responsibility side usually is not me, because I'm the one going, I got kids, I got a wife, I don't know what the heck's happening around here half the time.
Yep. But as of this moment, we got 33 wonderful subscribers, and we thank you all. So we gave one of you a Funko exclusive Slime Pit He-Man, and one of them got a Triclops exclusive Funko Pop. So
yes, thank you to our subscribers and our followers on Facebook and everything. That's growing. And also, I want to throw it out there. Matthew got us on the front page of He-Man.org in the news feed this week. So, and we have people from the org now that are coming in and taking a listen to us, and that is also quite a pleasure and a treat.
Yep, and I'm getting back onto the board a bit. I was, like I've told Shawn before, I was hot and heavy. I mean, that was the place to go back in the day, back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I mean, it's still usually breaking all the news. But I got lax on the boards over the years just because time and everything else. I couldn't keep up with them, so I'm getting back into it a little bit. It's good to see everybody again, and a lot of familiar faces, a lot of new names. So welcome all those people. Welcome.
Yes, welcome, and hopefully you're enjoying our back catalog of the previous 10, not 0.5 episodes, because this is the 10.5, but we're in double digits already because the half episodes have already pushed us into the 20-some episode category. But yes, hopefully you're enjoying those, and feel free to comment. Let us know what you like. Subscribe. Click the like button. All that stuff that Matthew says at the end. Way better than I just did. So
we're gonna start putting on Shawn here. He's gonna start being our. He's gonna start being our point man here.
I'll do a hula dance. You know what? If you do not like and subscribe, dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow. Oh, yeah.
I was more thinking Timon and Pumbaa at the end of Lion King when you said you were gonna do a hula dance.
That's amazing. You could be a big pig too.
Oh, good times. Oh. So, I think that's all the news we got right now. So let's just jump right in if that's all right with you.
Yeah, let's do it. Let me grab the.
So today
we're using this.
We are going to discuss issue 6 of He-Man and the Masters of the Multiverse. Oh wait, no, we can't do that. No. We were going to discuss issue 6 of He-Man and the Masters of the Multiverse, but unfortunately, with everything going on in the world right now, for some reason, none of the major comic companies are releasing anything new, even digitally. Which I don't follow many comics, weekly anymore. In fact, I follow no comics weekly. When the He-Man comic comes out, that's about all it was. That's about the only thing I follow right when it's coming out. Everything else I'll catch up when volumes come out, stuff like that. But yeah, so I just found out last night that it wasn't coming out today because I just assumed digital comics still were. So instead of that, me and Shawn, actually independently, that's the funny thing. We were both kind of just thinking about what we should do. And I brought up to him, I'm like, we did issue 1 of that DC miniseries back early. What was it, episode 2.5 or so?
Yeah, it was pretty darn early in our run.
It was pretty early. And I am going to drop a link down below to that first one because today we are going to discuss issue 2. Because we figured it's about time. We just got distracted with other things, but we want to finish up this story arc at some point. So we figured now's as good a time as any. I think we both kind of felt like, hey, let's get back to that. So follow that link down below so you can hear what we had to say in issue 1. And then come back here and we'll talk about issue 2, all right? All right, see you in a few.
Sounds good. Now, on page... I feel like I'm a kid in school again every time we do this stuff. Turn to page. In my book, it's 1,401. So there you go.
In my book, it's right here.
There you go.
60 cents. Number 2, but released... Well, it was a January book, so it would have been released in December of 82.
Yeah, that was the one I had when I had... I don't remember if I had the 3rd issue. No, I did. I had that one in the 3rd issue, and I never had the 1st issue.
Within these walls, Armageddon. We'll begin to that one.
Yep.
Probably not immediately, but...
The beginning of the, let this be our final battle, basically. That when I was a kid, even, when they did that moment in the movie, I'm just like, that's that cover. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's fine. I think this one's my favorite cover though. The Castle Grayskull and them on either side of the power sword. It just and the power sword's drawn very well there. Very Filmation-y, which is probably why I like it. I mean, you know that Power Sword, man. That thing got misdrawn so often even in like the mini comics and stuff, where you think like they're really trying to keep it on point because of the toys, but that thing gets misdrawn all the time.
Yeah.
That whole hilt part there with those cross guards, man. That just gives artists just nightmares, I guess.
Well, speaking as somebody who does draw this stuff, to make that thing, that's why I like the Alcala sword.
Yeah.
The Alcala one, there is a break in the design, at least. When you draw this one, you're just hoping for the best, that all of your curves work to make that whole hilt element work.
Yeah,
and it doesn't every time when I try it. I'll say that. It's like I have to go over it again, and then again, before it actually takes shape properly.
And really, even on this cover, you can see he did not get the little dots are not completely symmetrical, and the two sides aren't completely matching.
Yeah,
but it's better than this one on issue 1, where it's. I mean, what's that? You call that a power sword? You know.
Well,
it's nothing against.
Also has the harness is also odd on that one. So for me, it's like there's a lot more off that I can look at and just go, it's nice that we have a cover, but this one definitely feels the way that, it should feel with the look of everything going on here.
Yeah, exactly. It's the art all the way through, I felt was a lot tighter than the first issue. It's I don't know. He seems to be getting them. And that's the interesting thing, is all three of these covers were actually, well, I don't know, the last one I don't see a name on, but these first two, at least, they were done by Tuska. Is that George? Yeah, George Tuska, who did the interiors too. So
the inker is different, though. That's the reason they look, at least in the issue 2, it's cover art by George Tuska and Klaus Janson.
Yeah.
Or maybe Janssen. And then, let me see here.
Yeah, Giordano. It was Giordano on the first one, the first cover.
Yeah, and then the third one is again Tuska and Janssen, depending. Okay. So yeah, it's interesting because like the thing about these 3 books is Tuska is the staying point.
Yeah.
In the art, but then for issue 1 and 2, you have Alfredo Alcala doing the inking, and then in the third one you get Rodin Rodriguez. So you get like a whole nother shift in the look of this and all that.
Right.
So for us enjoying the story and saying that this is packed full of story, they still, back in those days, could not keep the same art team even on 3 issues of the book. And we're complaining about it on the Multiverse one, where issue what was it? Issue 3, we had half of Dan Fraga, and then the next one was Tom Derenick, halfway through the issue. So it's like, there you go. It's tradition. We still can't keep the same people through the whole run.
Well, but I think that's the thing. I think because you had the same penciler the whole way through, that for the most part it feels the same.
I'll give you that.
Like it's a lot closer. You don't feel that jarring shift, and they didn't do it mid-issue. That's that was the really killing point, because then you got an artist trying to imitate another artist, and that never ends well. But yeah, it's just a minor thing, but it's just interesting. But yes, this cover here is my favorite out of the 3. Just the nice Castle Grayskull in the background, the 2 of them split on either side of the power sword. It sums up everything you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and jump over here. There we are.
Ah, you did it again. Look at you.
Did it again. Elementary, my dear Scavarna.
Well, here we go. And then this first page is, oh man, I'll tell you what. I couldn't tell you how many times when I was a kid playing with my He-Man and Battle Cat that this was actually the way I pictured them. Sure. Instead of it just being 5 points of articulation. Oh, this is the good stuff.
And it's a nice. It's and you can tell. Was it still Tom Derenick on the last issue of Multiverse, issue 5? Do you remember?
Yeah,
I think it was.
Last issue was Tom Derenick. Yep.
And you can definitely tell that he looked to some of this early stuff when he was drawing it, because this is very evocative of that first image he used of He-Man and Battle Cat in his story. So,
Yeah, true.
um, but yeah, it's the quintessential savage He-Man on Battle Cat. So, real quick in issue 1, in case you're too lazy to go back and watch our other episode before you watch this one, or you've just forgotten. Either way, basically it kind of just summed up how it introduced Adam and how he becomes He-Man. It's a little bit of the backstory, easing readers into here, because this is very much the point where they're kind of shifting to the Filmation style, and we talk in depth about that in the last episode. So it spends a little time summing up the backstory of He-Man Adam, and then it goes into the adventure where Skeletor has captured the goddess and is holding her for ransom until He-Man and his friends bring him the 3 talismans, which will lead them to the Power Sword, so that they can give the Power Sword to Skeletor so he can enter Castle Grayskull. And we find out that there's another force at work here too that's trying to stop He-Man and everybody. And they meet with the royal wizard, and he gives them these artifacts that are going to lead them to the talismans. So I think that pretty much catches everybody up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Pretty succinct. Yep.
So yeah, so now we're here. We're in this the dark, dank jungles of Eternia, and it's kind of cool. It joins up with them complaining about being out here. That they're pretty much just filling you in on the backstory, like I did, of why they're here, what they're doing, but I love Battle Cat here. I love Battle Cat throughout this whole series. He's very cantankerous, very quick to anger, and very brutal. So, and he says here, he's talking about the jungle, and he says, though this be the place of my birth and my youth, I hate it. Like he doesn't even want to be back here. He likes living in the palace now. So,
oh yeah, the manner to which he's become accustomed. Yeah,
exactly. And I want to say he was Cringer. Okay, I couldn't remember for a second there if there was Cringer in this yet.
Yeah, there is Cringer.
So yeah, but even so, even as Battle Cat, he's still he's like, oh, I hate this place. I got used to the palace,
Yeah.
And that's about this first page here. I do love all the beasties and everything that they got running around. It's very evocative. You can tell they were taking cues from the early box art and all that great Earl Norm work, with all the little creatures that are in every scene.
There's that, and you can also hear some of the Filmation beastie noises looking at that page.
Absolutely.
Like the noises and stuff, it works. And the other thing too that I know a lot of people love it with Filmation is it does look like a jungle, but it does look also unearthly enough to give you that you're not in Kansas anymore vibe, which I like too. So
yeah,
just enough.
Like I speculated before, I think we know that some of this is Filmation had their series Bible already, and you can tell that the writers on this comic, kind of. They read some of it at least and incorporated some of it here. And you kind of wonder if maybe they've already seen some of the production animation too. If maybe that influence, because it is the jungle's very viney and twisty and everything. So
yeah,
it's possible. I don't know one way or another. But then that takes us to the second page here. Hang on.
Yep. And that's basically summing up the whole what's their goal here. And they're after the second talisman, which I still got to kick. The first issue, that final page, and He-Man finds that Stratos is wearing the first talisman the whole time. And I love that he doesn't even give him like wait, it's like he just grabs it. He's like, we found the first talisman. It amused me too much. Like, He-Man, I get you're more barbaric here, but slow your roll, dude. That's like his, but so he's basically doing the whole thing again of, they have to find the other 2 talismans, in order to get the power sword, and they're working for Skeletor, which neither one of them likes.
No.
But because the goddess is in danger, they are trying to help. So,
and they really played it up here. He-Man's got a good quote here. He goes, "Still, I must I do as he commands, for only the other gods could know what the death of a goddess might mean to the world or the cosmos." Like, they're really playing up how important the goddess is. That she's actually like a force of nature on the planet, and her death could mean like worldwide destruction. Like, that's pretty neat. That's something that we don't really. The goddess is so undefined. Like, she was one of those early concepts that kind of shifted a lot between the early mini comics and this, and all that. Like, and then eventually she became the sorceress, who, while still important, isn't this important, where the death of one person could ruin the world forever.
Yeah, and I mean, going back to these, I grew up with this being, like in the mini comics with the goddess is there before the sorceress and everything like that. And there is this element of her that I like slightly better than the sorceress, for the simple fact that she doesn't get shackled to the castle. And I like that she's out there, she's wandering the landscape just like He-Man would. And there is an element of, like, when you see in the first issue, they have the wizard duel, the Skeletor versus goddess moment. And it reminds me of, like, Lord of the Rings with, like, Gandalf versus Saruman in that one sequence. And I'm like, that's doing more to give her cred than Filmation for me in some ways, because there was always that she always is able to do the magic only if she's at Grayskull. And if she leaves the castle, she has to become Zor, and that's how it works. And I just kind of dig that she's somebody who's out and about, and she can take care of herself.
Sure.
For the most part. I mean, He-Man does rescue her in the mini comic when he first meets her, but then as those stories go on, she is in the thick of the battle sometimes.
Right.
So I think that's
I agree.
interesting, at least.
I think they're best. I know one kind of evolved into the other, but I still look at them as two very distinct characters, and there's definitely room for both of them in the universe, I feel. So. But yeah. So they really play up her importance, But then the talisman starts glowing, so they know they're getting close. But then they hear somebody's coming up on them, and who can it be?
Yeah.
And and I like this. So you see all these guys coming through the forest here with their spears and everything else, and Battlecat jumps at him, and He-Man grabs him by the mask. I love this part here. You can see it over on the screen there, where He-Man grabs him by the mask and just has to hold him back. No, Battlecat, restrain yourself. Like, it turns out that these men are friends of his. It's their leader is Cyril, and this I took as DC's way of trying to rectify the early mini-comic jungle origin of He-Man with kind of where Filmation's taken it. I think that's what this was intended as.
Yeah, when you read this part, at least for me, it was kind of a, how long has he been He-Man then? In that way. Like, they don't go into that exactly, but there is this element of, okay, if he... Yeah, apparently, yeah, because if he knows the Cyril guy and they have this kind of vibe, like they haven't seen each other in a while, but they're old friends, it's like he's had to be He-Man at least 5 or more years by this point.
Minimum,
At minimum, to me, because that is, for somebody to say someone's an old friend, 5 years is kind of like the statute of limitations that you're allowed to start going, yeah, you could call them an old friend if you haven't seen them in about 5 years.
Well, and they even say, he says it's been many years since last we laid eyes upon each other, and Cyril replies, too many years. I mean, so that's...
Too many years, yes.
I mean, that's and they joke with each other about their looks and everything. He's like, oh, I see the years have been kind to you, and Cyril calls him a boy a lot. Like, you can kind of feel like this camaraderie, and like you said, like this like, yeah, they've grown up. Since this first encounter here, and even He-Man says that he met them long before Battle-Cat joined with him. So he was He-Man for quite a while before Battle-Cat even came along. So
yeah. I don't know, that leads, and again, it opens like, here's stories in my head that I'm now telling, and that's the beauty of the line, is there's always these little moments in the storylines where you can hear a line like that, and then your mind starts going, well, what has happened since then, and what's the history of them and all that kind of stuff, because I know for some people in the fan community, this is a character that they're still like, hey, he's cool. Just the other day, I saw somebody do a custom of Cyril.
Oh yeah. So, he still gets talked about quite a bit. I mean,
yeah.
But yeah,
so
and he's a good avenue to kind of explore the jungle origins too, and I think that's where most people usually use him. And He-Man explains here how he met him, and that was actually back years ago when he, just as Prince Adam, he was heading out into the forest to hunt, and because everyone goes hunting with a battle axe and shield, obviously.
Only on a turn.
Only on a turn, yeah. And he happened across this village that was being enslaved by this sorcerer named Damon. He enslaved this village so that they would be his follower, his army, mindless slaves. And Adam ended up being attacked by him, and he was defending himself. And then he was joined by a mysterious falcon, a winged warrior who was the messenger of the goddess. Yeah, so they're using Zor here, and here again you can see the beginnings of what was going to become. Zor is a messenger of the goddess, which would eventually turn into the alternate form of the sorceress, but here it's still the mighty falcon. But this actually, Zor's actually able to change Adam into He-Man, and this is the first time he became He-Man, was defending Cyril's village from this evil sorcerer named Damon. So, and I know we talked a bit in the first episode about how, the Cave of Power limits, your transformation, having the Cave of Power be your transformation sequence. It's like, okay, now I gotta find the cave. And I had forgotten when we did this episode how apparently even they had thought about it at that point. And they're like, okay, well, he needs a secondary way. So apparently she can also send Zor to change Adam into He-Man. Which, again, I still think by the power of Grayskull is a lot more effective and a better story. But at least they were thinking about it.
Well, it's to me, it's it's not so much my love of the old school compared to the Filmation and beyond, but there is this element of like, I still can appreciate some of the Golden Age Superman stuff in that way. And this to me is like, this is like you're pulling back the veil of what could have been if there wasn't like a succinct way to do this. So in that way, there's this, I kind of dig that, he's in the middle of like fighting off this sorcerer, and then out of nowhere, boom, he becomes He-Man in the middle of the fight. And one thing that I'm surprised it doesn't bug you in some ways, because we talked about it on a couple episodes back, this opens up him saying, well, I was Prince Adam at the time. So it's the idea that, the villagers know he's not always He-Man, in that way. And I kind of like that element of it in some ways too, because I like that they would look at him as the prince and go, well, he takes care of us, in that way. He's fought for us, even if it wasn't him, finishing it. It was He-Man finishing it. But I like that idea that, it shows either way he's a man of action and he's willing to stick up for people if they need help or whatever.
Absolutely. So I'm okay with it here because this is not Filmation. I take it in its own continuity here, But yeah, it's a lot of this isn't my preferred, but in this story it works. And you can see here on the next page exactly what you're saying, because here's Cyril with Prince Adam meeting King Randor. So he took Cyril back. This village swore their loyalty to the King of Eternia, and they're all loyal now. Which kind of, it's an interesting world that they're painting here too, where you've got kind of these independent villages and kingdoms, but through the actions of Adam or He-Man, like some of these guys are coming in and swearing loyalty to the crown. It's definitely a more war-torn Eternia here, where you kind of feel like everywhere you go, there's more danger, there's more unknown, there's more people trying to survive on their own. And more opportunity for Adam He-Man to make friends and recruit people to the Eternals' cause. So
to the banner of the king in that way. Yeah, and there is, I'm not gonna lie, there is a sadness to me reading this stuff too, because this was what I was thinking was going to be the cartoon. So when I'm reading this now, I'm still to this day kind of going, I wouldn't have minded if they would have tried to start the cartoon this way and then whittled it down during the season, the first season, to finally go, okay, here's the concise. Now he has the power sword. I have the power. Boom. He's He-Man. Yeah. And it would have started off maybe with this, the war-torn attorney and all that. And when it never goes there. No. That was me as a kid just kind of going, this isn't what I was sold. But at the same time, the beauty of this and the beauty of the original mini comics, it's fun to go to this and go, what could have been, or the alternate idea of what this was for the people like me that, when I was a kid, this was my bread and butter Masters until Filmation hit and all that stuff. But I don't know. I love exploring it.
Oh yeah, you can see some shades of it. Tale of Two Cities right off the bat in Filmation springs to mind. That definitely has He-Man going into a region that's unfamiliar with Eternos and He-Man and everything else. And I mean, there are shades of it. For that story, you basically have to blame the fact that Filmation had to syndicate. They had to do first-run syndication. Yeah. So right there, the whole continuity, the build-up storylines had to go out the window, because you can't make first-run syndication work with all these multi-part. You can do a couple of two-parters here and there, but for the most part, you've got to be pretty much you can catch an episode and you don't have to know anything else. Whereas here, you definitely had to read issue 1 to know what's going on here in issue 2. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I too enjoy these peeks at at the shaping of the evolution of the mythology. I definitely like this more than, say, those first 4 mini comics. I feel like this has a little more thought, a little more fleshed out. They've had a little more time to breathe and define some of these concepts better.
Yeah, as a story, yes. But for me, art-wise, those first 4 mini comics still are like, they're even higher than this. As much as the art is beautiful in this, and it evokes that, but I feel like they're trying to evoke the feeling of when you buy those figures, here's those mini comics, right. So it's like, I like that Alfredo Alcala was the person that was the bridge for both in that way. But it's like, there is a definitely a more concise story they're trying to tell, whereas the first 4 were like a hodgepodge of ideas they were trying to come up with and pin down a storyline for this toy series until they got into like the Triclops mini comic and the Ram Man and Trap Jaw and things like that, where they were refining it more.
And that's the thing, not to tangent too much farther, but you could really feel like the first wave of mini comics came out, the first wave of toys came out, and they actually kind of came out in 2 waves, whatever. But and then you could kind of feel like everyone went like, okay, what are we doing for wave 2? Like there was no. That's really you could feel that they weren't really planning for more waves. It was just kind of like, well, let's release these 8 guys. We got a playset, we got some vehicles, here's some mini comics, and then all of a sudden Mattel's like, okay, what are we doing for wave 2? And everyone's just kind of like, yep, we'll get that tomorrow. and yeah. But at that point, they knew they had a hit, and that's why from like that second wave of mini comics on, you could kind of see like they're like, we got to get this story more concise, and then Filmation contacted them, and all this kind of stuff. This is right in that time where they're like, okay, we need to get a concise story here. Let's figure out what works with these guys. So, and that's exactly what this is.
Well, the other thing too, again, not tangenting further, but DC being a comic book publisher, I'm sure that they wanted to actually pin down ideas and say, this is what it is. We're not changing it from issue to issue the way that, the mini comics have a little more fluidity in how they handled it, because there's no guarantee the first issue of the mini comics was going to be He-Man and the Power Sword or whatever. It was going to turn into, it was whatever one you picked up. Could be the Vengeance of Skeletor, it could be whatever. And so you're starting with whatever book you get in front of you there. But here you have a issue 1, issue 2, issue 3 miniseries at least. And, these concepts have to be continuations and the same throughout, or else there are going to be people going, well, that doesn't make sense. So,
Exactly.
Which there are times that happens too, but not in this, thankfully.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I gotta say, the first mini comic I remember reading is Siege of Avion. So, yeah, I mean, anybody can come in at any point in the line. So,
well, that's true. Mine was crap. I don't remember the name of it. I know the cover. I cannot remember the name of it. It's the one with He-Man on the cover with his axe, and he's about to chop the squid that's attacking him. Do you remember the name of that one?
Vengeance of Skeletor.
Vengeance of Skeletor. I got that one more than any other one, and to this day, I love that cover for that reason, because it was the very first. Like, I remember seeing that and being like, "What's this?" And by the time I got to the final, the last cover, I was like, I got to do that again. And I like the whole day, it was either me playing with the figure or looking at that mini comic. I was good. Yeah. And my mom could just lock me in my room and I would have been thrilled till dinner time,
That was a good cover. I'll give you that. Yeah, Vengeance.
Thank you, Alfredo. That's all I could say. Thank you. God bless you, man. Rest in peace. God bless you for that stuff.
Absolutely.
My imagination was set on fire by that stuff. I can never say thanks enough for that stuff. So,
absolutely. And here we've got my nitpick of the issue here as
here it comes.
There it comes. I gotta do it. And you can tell me, the wizard did it, whatever. The old Simpsons excuse for it.
The wizard did it, yeah.
But here, if you look on this panel here, they've got Adam and Cyril talking to King Randor, and then they go back to the jungle there where He-Man's telling Cyril why they're here, except he all of a sudden has Adam's vest back on.
Yeah,
again.
Yeah. I'll give you that one, because even I am like, what the hell? Like when I saw that, it's like again, everything I just said, throw that out the window about the continuity. Yeah, I'm wrong. So,
honestly,
it's
even on
Adam is there somehow.
Even on the previous page there, it was kind of weird the way they set up those boxes with like Adam, then you went over Adam, then over to Adam, then he, like the and our viewers who are watching YouTube can see it there. Just the way the panels are set out there. Yeah, with that long panel,
one was confusing.
It's the reading is the reading order is kind of weird, and then we jump to the next page where it's back to Adam, it takes you a second. It's like, so
you started off reading it like Americans and Europeans would read from left to right, and then all of a sudden you hit that final panel, and then suddenly you're reading it like a manga.
Yeah,
because now it's like you're reading it backwards to get to this point, and then. But like it's weird because you read that long panel, then you have to jump to the other panel, and then somehow it's a very confusing
flow, isn't
page.
It? Yeah, it's unusual for.
And the thing that you're talking about though with the first two panels on the next page though is Adam actually has he has some sort of an amulet or necklace he's wearing in the first panel.
Yeah, he does.
So that confuses the whole thing there. It's like, okay, he has that. Then in the next panel, he still has it, and he's looking at that. But Battle Cat's there somehow, even though he's not He-Man. And you can see the next panel, we're back to this is what's happening now. You know?
Well, that's it. Well, you can see they're in the jungle there, too, because the leaves are hanging down. Cyril's back over there.
Exactly.
It's like, so for a second there, you're like, wait, am I in the past? Am I in the now? Where am I? So...
This is DC saying He-Man doesn't run fast in this. It's not Filmation yet, kids. So he had to do that costume change in the first page or the first panel. So we're just letting him have that quick little moment. And now, he took the shirt off. We're good. The tunic's gone.
We're good
back
now. Oh Lord.
Oh God. It's no wonder I'm in trouble with my wife so much. See, my excuses, they just don't hold up. It just doesn't work.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's reading through it, I might catch more as we're going here. But reading through it, that was the only kind of like, and I know I had that nitpick in the last issue with the goddess fight and everything. But it is what it is. It happens. But other than that, and then we're treated to, Cyril knows exactly where He-Man needs to go. He says, I'm not a fool. I know. He's like, I don't know what you're looking for, but I can tell, I'm missing it now, but I know where you need to go. I can tell when things are weird. And he's taken him to this cave deeper in the forest. And here's our first big battle of the issue. And yes, there's multiples.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Sorcery, most foul, my friend. Shield yourselves.
Yeah, that big.
Yeah.
And you go to the next page, and all those guys are leaping out of the tree at him, and those are some great designs there. Like, that guy coming out off the vine with his sword drawn looks almost Snake Man-ish in the red. Like, that's a neat design right there. It's simple, but it's terrifying at the same time.
See, I cannot remember for the life of me, like, I know when I was a kid, I was into Conan, I was into He-Man,
Sure.
And it's like every time I see these pages, it reminds me of like John Buscema doing Conan and Conan fighting all sorts of swords. And when you see this stuff, it's like this is the pure good stuff,
right?
Of like Marvel Comics, DC Comics doing these things, and this book for me is such a freaking time warp to just go back to my childhood. It's like I don't exactly remember when I fell in love with this, but this is the page.
Yeah.
Like this is the page to help, And I even like I like on the page before Battle Cat's complaining about sorcery. I'd rather have something I can sink my claws into, and this is like I like that. Does this fit your bill, Battle Cat? He's like, they will do.
They will do. That's how
even Battle Cat's got this like whatever.
And that's how I read it too. It's like, all right, this will be good enough, but I need something a little bit more next time, like.
Yeah, it's like, where's a giant, So it's like Battle Cat wants to like prove how fierce he is at this point. It's like, all right, fine, they're throwing me a bone here.
And there's something about that slap that Battle Cat does, like it's almost, I don't know, that in the background they just like. The way he's holding his paw and everything, and the like he just pimp slapped him.
It's playful. It's like, yeah. You're not worth my time, but I'm getting a little bit of fun out of this. Whatever, you know.
And then of course He-Man's like, oh, this is Skeletor's work, but it can't be Skeletor because he wants us to do this. He sent us here, so why would he? He's like, I think too much.
Yeah.
When 'tis battle, I should be after.
That?
Yeah.
I love it.
He's like, I'm overthinking this. I just need to kill these guys and then we'll figure it out. I mean, all these guys, you got these weird monsters, almost masks of power demon looking almost there. That he's punching the gut. That guy in the next page that Cyril's holding there with the helmet and the scales. It's like, I love how much work that's one thing I'll say. Nowadays in a lot of animation and everything, you'll just get all these generic looking thugs. But they took the time here to make each one of these little demons like look unique, and there's something to be said for that. You don't get enough of that anymore. A lot of times they just want to do like one design and they just like clone it, or maybe do a color swap on it. But
sure.
But I love these.
Yeah, I'd love to read the script that the writer provided just to see if he described what any of these would look like, or if he was just going to let George Tuska go nuts, because
I would assume
it really
the
goes
latter,
to show.
Just demons attack probably or something. So, and that's the thing. Excuse me. And that's the thing. Most of these when you read these interviews with these early artists and everything, like, especially in this time, they're like, we had so much freedom. It was a blast to work on because we were allowed to just cut loose. They just put like, we need demons. So they're like, man, I can do all this stuff. Like, I'm not. this is something not only for us kids, it was fueling our imagination and creativity, but for the guys who worked on it. Most of these guys were probably doing licensed books normally where they're like, okay, I got to draw this like this and this like this. And then like they get something like this falls in their lap and they're like, I get to just draw monsters? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's awesome. Like, and you can tell, you can feel it. That's my point. Like you can feel that they were just so into this. Tuska and I forget the writer's name, Paul Kupperberg. Like you can tell that they were just like it was awesome to be able to just cut loose, especially right now when there's virtually no restraints. They got basic premises.
Yeah.
But so they end up getting to this cave, and Cyril says, get in there, boy. We'll take care of the monsters. And I love that Cyril calls He-Man boy there. Like, he knows how powerful he is, but he still looks at him like, you're just a youngin'. Like, you may be strong, but you don't know as much as I am. You haven't lived as long as I do. I love that banter between them and everything. And the way he talks down to He-Man, but not in a condescending way. More just like, I'm your elder, respect me,
This is the kind of banter that I would have expected out of He-Man working with Fisto.
Yeah.
Like, I always pictured Fisto being a bit like this, so it's kind of fun to see a character, at least, that has that vibe about him. And, like you're saying, boy, him saying boy to He-Man and stuff. It's like nobody other than Man-at-Arms probably on Eternia would say boy to him, and Man-at-Arms would never even do that.
Yeah, maybe this version of Man-at-Arms in here, but, like, no other Man-at-Arms would even talk to He-Man like that. Like,
yeah.
So they get to this cave that's protected by this force field. That's why the creatures haven't gone in, because it's killing any creature that tries to go through. But his power vest with all its scientific marvels allows him to pass through it.
Woohoo!
So, I mean...
Techno vest.
The Techno vest. So,
the Techno vest.
And here again, it's still a little bit of that early, the goddess gave me the vest, and it's a leftover remnant of ancient technology, rather than just the, armor or whatever. So...
Yeah.
And it kind of leads you to the old King of Castle Grayskull thing, where it feels like, well, He-Man's supposed to be the one to become King of Castle Grayskull. It kind of has shades of that in it, too, where he can pass through because he's got the right armor. So,
well, even on top of that, just real quick, a nod at the last issue of issue 5 of the Multiverse comic. They had front and center when they started talking about the Great Wars. There's a guy front and center, but with brown hair, wearing the harness and stuff. So there's this. I kind of took that as the setup of whoever had that harness probably was the ruler or the leader of their people, and it meant something in the history of Eternia, both the harness and maybe the symbolism of it and all that. So it works for me in that way, where he's not the king yet, but it shows there's not like a birthright, but he's the chosen one to become the leader.
But he's got to earn it, which was a very big part of those early mini comics. It's like, you're going to be the king, but you're not just going to walk in here and take the throne. You've got to get through your paces. But I agree. I never felt in these early ones that this armor was just randomly given to him or just randomly saved from the Great Wars. Like there's a reason the goddess had all this holed up in her cave for all those eons, however long. Depending on what you read, depends on how long it was.
Yeah.
Let's see. So he makes it into the cave here, and and it shows here, it just the force field destroys the beasts as they go through, but he's able to get in there. He makes it to the center of the cavern, and there's just one point of light there, which is the talisman. Excuse me. Yeah. Oh my god, I lost my place.
The one point of utter brilliance yet is even this light, the thing one would expect the very fate of a world to rest on. He-Man does not stop to ponder this. For the next instant, then Battle Cat shows up. He's like, "You didn't grab it yet."
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I was reading and I hiccuped and lost my place. But yeah, it's kind of weird how they like make He-Man pause there, but not really for any reason. It's I don't know. It was kind of a weird segue, but then Battle Cat's there to go, hey, the barrier is gone and the demons are coming, so we better do something here.
I don't know. I kind of took it. There's a little bit of like the Starseed to that moment. I think there's like this. He's one away from about to getting the thing that his enemy wants, but if he got it, he could stop his enemy. You know, I kind of took it just in that little, like, he's taking a moment to kind of weigh, we're one away from the end here, you know, or maybe there was like a certain light about it that it distracted him enough to make, you know, it was giving him these visions or something, or maybe he heard the music from when the Matrix shows up in Transformers the movie, and that kind of. He's like, I really dig that tune. That's great. And then Battle, didn't you grab it yet? Oh, sorry.
Yep. And then they grab it and they vanish, and then we've got the Lifesaver Circle of Flavors. I love reading. I love reading the old comics with the ads in them.
Oh, you actually, yeah. See, I went right to.
I got the Lifesavers Circle of Flavor.
Oh, I remember those ads. That and the Bubble Yum ones.
Yeah.
Is there a Bubble Yum ad in there?
I've got the Milk Duds Clark and Zagnut where you can send away for an AM/FM review. I have not seen the Milk Duds.
The Bubble Yum one has this little kid and he can barely see over the counter and it's drawn and he's like he's asking to get some Bubble Yum. Yeah. Well, no, that was one of them. Yeah. But there was another one where it was like a little kid asking the guy that worked at the store to get a Bubble Yum or whatever. And I always remembered that one.
I also liked how they always had to put on here, continued on second page following. Like, what kid's not going to just, like, keep flipping? Like, they're going to, oh, nope, that was the end. It's Lifesavers now. Oh, well. Good issue.
Now it's Lifesavers, the comic book. Yeah, exactly.
But then we get to the Sea of Blackness here, and I love the coloring on this whole sequence, really, here with Man-at-Arms, Teela, and Stratos. Like they do it in such a darker kind of, they're shading the reds and the blacks in the sky. Like it really feels a lot darker, and that's what they say. This is the Sea of Blackness. Eternians shun this place. It's dark, craggy shores. It's black, churning waters. People tend not to come to this part of the world where the sun never shines, unless, of course, they must.
This whole page to me is it's a pencil and ink equivalent of the box art.
Yeah.
From like Battle Ram and from the Wind Raider and all that stuff. I mean, this page, without it even having He-Man on, is like, this is so pure Masters.
Oh, absolutely.
From that era to me. But I will admit, Man-at-Arms being near the water makes me nervous because, you know, my 2000X issues. I'm just gonna say it. I
hope we see.
Thankfully,
I hope we see a flying fish here. That would make this issue.
You would love to hear me rant for 3 hours of how much I hate that damn thing. That's what it is.
I would so much.
I'll give you Orko clapping like a fool over that any day of the week. I don't care. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yay!
I completely agree to you, and I think this is the beginnings of the whole Dark Hemisphere idea. And, you know, there's this really dark side of Eternia, this really dark place in Eternia. And here we have, you see, they realize their mistake in their first issue, and they've got Teela on model now in her standard leotard. I like that they didn't make the Wind Raider any bigger than a one-seater. They made it exactly like the toy. So Man-at-Arms is flying it, and Teela's got to hang on the side there, standing awesome. On the wing there. Like
that's like if I drove my daughter to school and she's holding onto the top of my car. I mean,
It's like
I'd love that.
They couldn't have given her
like,
her own windbreaker or a sky sled or something, No,
I mean, she doesn't even have a helmet. Her hair's just flowing in the wind. I mean, jeez. I love it. It's like it's that meme of like the kids going, oh, kids today are so this and that, and then they show all these kids doing these stupid stunts on their bikes and stuff. It's like, I survived that. It's like, this is that equivalent right here. He's like, my dad wouldn't let me sit down.
Yep.
Man at Arms is jerks.
Yeah. You think he could have stood? Come on. But yeah, so they're after the Talisman of the Sea. The wizard Tarak gave them a crystal to help them point the way to their talisman they've got to find. And I tell you what, they did a great job, like you said, with Tila's hair blowing. It's blowing in like every scene here. The wind, or the water's all choppy. Like you can just feel this cold wind just blowing. I mean, Tila's even like huddled up there in the picture in the next page there, where they're standing on the rock there trying to figure out where they should go. Like you just feel so much emotion in this, and how that I mean, I can hear the wind howling through here and the water just churning, and I mean, obviously we got to go down. We've got to go underwater, and luckily Tarak gave them a potion to allow them to breathe underwater for 1 hour.
1 hour. Yeah.
I like it.
Hey, it's something.
I mean, yeah. If you're gonna take, you got a Talisman of the Sea. You got to take them underwater. It's fine. I'm good with it. Magic potions are fine.
There was something that I read, something that was almost along the lines of this, and I couldn't remember if it was this or not. But there was something where there was a wizard or a sorceress in like a movie or whatever that said, oh, well, I can grant you the ability to breathe underwater for 30 minutes. Then after that, you probably won't want to be there anymore. And I kept thinking it was this, and I'm like, no, I'm thinking of something else. But there is a similar feeling to how this plays out. And we get to see a side of Merman that is not very seldom seen, I should say.
Oh, absolutely. Which
is pretty cool coming up here.
And even before that, it's interesting because they still have this hard-nosed man-at-arms here. He's very much more military and everything. But he's still got a pretty good moment with Tila here where, she's kind of showing some hesitation. Torak's magic potions may be the best thing to come along since the blaster, but that doesn't make me feel any better about playing fish. And Manor's like, but you are a soldier, my daughter. You will go and you will fight, for that is what soldiers do. It's like you can't. I like seeing that when it comes to his daughter, he's got a little bit of tenderness to him. Because in the last issue we were talking about how he's very hard on Adam. Especially because he doesn't.
Well, he thinks Adam's a jerk.
Yeah, because he doesn't know Adam's secret in this continuity. He thinks Adam is that Playboy prince. So, and Teal's like, all right, if you say so, Father. And whoop, she takes her potion. They all do, and off they go.
Yeah.
And excuse me. And down below we go. They go. Oh, what is that? It does not seem possible, yet the waters beneath the turbulent surface of the Sea of Blackness are darker still, with a foulness to them that makes the sustaining of life appear impossible. Like, just this, the picture they set here is like, yeah, nothing lives down here. They feel disgusting going down in there, but down they go. And this whole underwater sequence is drawn pretty well. They find a temple here. They figure that must be where the talisman's kept, because it's the only thing around here. But unfortunately, this is no, it's not the home of, but but Merman has already come there as well.
Yeah.
And I like that even they try, and the heroes try and reason with Merman at first. They're like, well, move aside. For distasteful though it might be, our mission is the name of Skeletor, your master. They're like, dude, come on, let us go. We're serving Skeletor right now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And Merman is that slimy, backstabbing Merman that we do know from those early mini comics. He's like, well, he's not my master. I'm gonna find the talisman myself, and I'm gonna get the power sword. So
I like that.
Yeah,
actually, I like that turn of events because he basically says Skeletor's an interloper.
Yeah,
I am from Eternia, and it reminds you again. This is not Filmation. This is not 2000X. Skeletor was a demon from another dimension before all that stuff, and it's fun to see him thinking about, well, I have to serve him.
Yeah,
but if I got this stuff. Now, like, he's not even from here. Why would I trust this guy? You know, I love that about it.
Right. He's like, I deserve to rule Eternia because I was born here.
Yeah.
And Man Arm's like, well, neither of you really do, but since he's got the goddess and you don't, you're in our way. And he punches him in the face because that's all we do.
I like that the way they illustrated Man at Arms' face when he punches him in the face.
Oh, absolutely.
Just there's a huge amount of just like, you know, like, I'm not going to say the word, but go yourself, basically.
There it is. Yeah, this page here down at the bottom for those following along on our YouTube channel. Or if you're listening to your audio, maybe you pulled out your copy and you're cruising along with us.
Yeah, it just worked, and it also sees the desperation in that moment, like, because they have already said that the spell that they have is not going to last much longer. They're like, we got to get this.
Yeah, they've only got an hour. They had to swim all the way down to the ocean floor here. So, and then Merman shows up with all these beasties, and here again we got these cool other mer creatures. And I like that they didn't just make merman clones here. They actually gave some unique colors, some unique personality, and they got those dragon or dinosaur. I can't think of the name of that dinosaur. Bothered me. But yeah, that ocean dinosaur with the flippers and the long neck.
Basically the Loch Ness Monster version of the dinosaurs. I can't remember the name either, and I feel bad because I loved dinosaurs as a kid, but it's been years.
But yeah, one of them's riding a Loch Ness Monster, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And they're fighting underwater. Tila's got her sword, and Stratos got a spear from somewhere, sure. But here's our second big battle, and I love how Merman is drawn throughout this. He just looks so deadly. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of talking here, really. It's battle. Yeah. And especially this next page here, that second panel down, Shawn, I'm sure you agree. That right there, that Merman. Like, that is one of the coolest drawings of Merman I've ever seen, with him brandishing his sword there and just that hungry look in his eyes, and you can see all those razor sharp teeth. Like, that's Merman.
No, like that. And I completely agree with you. That is how. Like, I like to when they did the Origins reveals for the PowerCon exclusives. When I saw those, I'm like, he looks like Michelangelo. He's just happy to be here and stuff. And there were people that were giving me flack about that. And I'm like, no, he looks way too happy. He's supposed to be this villainous ruler of the sea. And when you see that version, it's like, that's definitely somebody he's evil.
Right. But he's still kind of got that kind of happy, goofy look on him. Like, but they made it sinister.
Yes.
Right, like he looks like a barracuda, like ready to snap on you. And especially seeing him here in his element. This thing, you didn't get to see Merman down in the ocean a lot. It's like, well, this is his home here. Like and you can tell the Warriors, Stratos and Man, they're having a hard time keeping up with these guys, because these guys are all used to this, and they're Stratos is probably the best because flying, swimming, I'm sure those are very similar. But yeah, they're really getting pinned down here. Tila even says here, they live underwater. We're just visitors, and very temporary ones at that. And they're trying to figure out how long they have left on the breathing spell. And luckily, Skeletor shows up here to save them.
Yeah, which is, again, did not expect that.
Right. But yeah, he's and he actually, and also on this page, we do have our first ever mention of Serpos here.
Serpos.
Merman cries, "Serpos, have mercy! That voice, I know it well." And then Skeletor appears like I knew you were gonna double cross me. Now get out of their way. I sent them here, and And he's telling Merman to get out, just leave them alone, let them do their thing. And Tila, of course, she won't even take this help. That's how headstrong she is in this.
Yeah.
She
Well, something too, when Skeletor shows up, like we were literally 2 minutes ago tops saying how villainous and savage Merman looks.
Yeah.
And he's got all of his mer people there, and they're after them and all this stuff, and it's actually a pretty good battle underwater. And the minute Skeletor shows up, one of the first words he uses to describe the king of the oceans of Eternia is lackey.
Yeah.
So how much, it's like, man, did he just completely neuter him in that moment? It's like this guy who isn't even from here is now telling the boss, oh, he's a lackey. Oh.
Yeah, and then right away Merman's like, please, master, have mercy on me. Like, oh, I got found out. Because he knows he can't beat him one-on-one. So he's going to go behind his back. But yeah, when he's confronted with the challenge, he's like, oh, no, I was just kidding. I'm sorry, boss.
I didn't mean it.
Right? And then so, but then, of course, Tila, she's like, oh, we may have to do your dirty work locating the power swords, but will not be debased further by allying with you against any foe. You'll get your sword, but on our terms. And Skeletor's like, all right, I withdraw my protection. I'm out of here. But he takes Merman too, so he can punish him. But they're still left with all the other mer people. It's
Peace out.
But yeah, that's Tila. She's heroic to a fault, where she won't even accept this little help from Skeletor to get this last talisman that she knows they have to get to save the goddess. But she would rather do it on her own and potentially perish than to take his help. So, but luckily that whole distraction gives Stratos a second to get a head start on the goons, and he gets into the temple to look for the talisman. And I love this part. He's trying to find it and get to it, and they're running out of breath. They can barely breathe. They can't talk. The mer people see that they're going down, and they're taking their chance. But luckily Stratos catches it just in the nick of time, and they're phased out just like He-Man and Battle Cat were. But yeah, that right there was an awesome battle scene. I love that. They were done. They were gonna be defeated, but luckily just in the nick of time they were taken out of there. Not even that they won. So it's always nice to see that.
Well, there was also there was a page here, I can't remember where, there is actually a little moment with Man-at-Arms even where he says, he doesn't completely believe in sorcery, he's a man of science.
Yeah.
And I kind of dug that, they, again, establishing these characters as who they'll become with what the Filmation canon is going to be and what we know them as. It's actually really cool that they even just had that little nod there and stuff. But yeah, this whole sequence, it pretty much is the core of this issue.
Yeah.
And even without He-Man, it's freaking great.
Yeah.
So
no, and that's a nice thing. It's nice to see them operating as their own team. They're achieving their objective. They're all strong, and they don't necessarily need He-Man to come and save them. So that was nice. They both completed their tasks, and then they're warped to this Doctor Strange-like dimension here where there's all these weird planets and spheres and whatever that thing in the corner is. And
I don't want to know what that thing in the corner is with the tentacles or whatever, the veins or whatever.
And then He-Man and Battle-Cat are just kind of floating there like, oh, what brings you guys here? The same thing that brought you here, no doubt. The talisman. Oh.
He-Man could go, I think too much.
Yeah. And so they're and then Skeletor shows up again, there we are. I flipped too many pages at once. But yeah, so they have the 3 talismans. So they're not sure what they're supposed to do now, and Skeletor shows up, reminding them again here that he's got the goddess, like they could have forgotten. And just telling them basically that they need to follow this world to find the power sword and deliver it to him. And here again, it's the same thing. You got He-Man here. He's ready to chop Skeletor up, even still knowing that he holds the goddess. It's like the same thing with Teela. They're both just so headstrong in this canon that like their anger, their quick to battle gets the better of them quite a bit.
Yeah. I like that. I mean, again, you got a dude who he was packaged with a sword and a freaking battle axe.
Yep.
I don't think he'd exactly hold back too often.
Right.
So like this being how they picture it, like for as much as it is cool to have like there's a nice thing to have He-Man thinking things through, becoming friends sometimes with his adversaries and showing, you know, it sometimes if you just understand each other, it's you know, that's what matters. That's the thing that can stop a bigger problem or whatever. There is an element to the brashness of this version where I'm like, I would love to see that because it would push him into even worse problems.
Yeah.
And there's more adventures to be had that way.
Absolutely. You know? Yeah, and that's what Skeletor says here. You know, he answers, "We don't serve you, we never shall." And he says, "But you do, fool. Call it what you will, champion, if that will savage thy pride. In truth, would you not do whatever I did command in order to save your precious goddess?" It's like, I like that Skeletor. He's cold, he's calculating. He's like, yes, yeah, you call it whatever you want, buddy. You're working for me right now. So he knows he's got him over the barrel. And so he commands him, you know, go forth into the void and return not until you have the sword in hand. So he's going to wait here. They got to go retrieve the sword and bring it back to him. And we get our nice first glimpse here of this hooded figure who is the, or we're led to presume, this is the guy who's been sending all these demons after him every step of the way. He's been watching him this whole time in this little magic lamp, whatever he's got there.
Looks like something that would have been in my grandparents' house.
Right?
It literally, he's probably got like an old radio set next to that and he's listening to like Charlie McCarthy or something, you know? I mean, it's like, there's something to this where it's like, did they just take my grandparents' house and just say, hey, we're going to just draw something from here?
It's your grandpa. No.
It could be. He's in his bathrobe. Oh, crazy grandpa.
And he is basically, he says he's waiting. He doesn't reveal a lot. He doesn't monologue here, but he basically just says that finally they're making some progress and he's waiting for them to get to the power sword. So same thing. He's wanting them to lead him to the power sword. So that's what everyone's after here. And they're heading along. He-Man's getting impatient again here. Man-Arm's playing the mentor. And then they're attacked for the third time in this issue. Look at all this fighty. Ugh. Fighty. And they're attacked by a whole nother group of goons here, which again, these designs are awesome. I would take figures of any of these. They would look awesome up there on your shelf.
I like the candy cane one.
Yeah.
The horns that it looked like candy canes.
Ones,
I was gonna say is it's because I know they color corrected mine with the omnibus but that one he looks like he could like all they have to do is take the head off of Gygor and just put this head on him and you pretty much have him because he even has the axe and everything.
Yeah.
So
it'd be a good base to start with. Yeah, I mean most of these guys. I mean you got that cat-like looking one there. I mean you could make him out of the Battle Cat buck. It'd be really easy. Yep. But yeah, and they should make a lot of these guys. Even on the next page there, I like that horned monster, whatever he is, that Battle Cat jumps on, just starts biting the piece out of his shoulder. It's like, and it's nice being able to see them let go here before some of the censorships came
He-Man
on.
does a gut shot on him.
yeah, Battle Cat's up on him, just like wrapped around him, nibbling on his shoulder, and He-Man's taking the axe to his chest. They're just, again here, just great battle scenes. And then we got
our final 2 pages.
Yep. Oh yeah, and a nice little moment between Man-Arms and Teela. He's trying to use his blaster and he can't take this creature out of the sky. He keeps dodging it, and Teela goes, "Yep, I'd like a length of sharp steel to solve the problem." And she just slices its head off. But they're saying the whole time, like, these hordes of demons are coming. They're faster than they can drop them. There's more coming, so they're getting pretty overwhelmed. And here again, He-Man's like, what manner of force would keep us from the sword? Even Skeletor is not so insane to prevent those he sent after them from reaching the location. Is he? Like, even now, He-Man's still kind of doubting, like, is Skeletor doing this? Is he not? Like, well, there's no other option, so it must be Skeletor, right? And then you got a cosmic wind arrives that sweeps both demons and humans aside through the battle. Its source not far behind. And you've got the cosmic enforcer, Zodak, rides in on his awesome space chariot there. and he finishes it off the episode with, "Let the battle cease. Long enough had these humans fought the battle royale without knowing the truth behind their quest. This shall change, so commands Zodak, rider of the spaceways." And that's it for issue 2.
Yeah.
But I do like here, even though on that first cover with everybody, we did see Zodak on Skeletor's side, we still, when he shows up here, he's pretty much the cosmic enforcer that we see from this point into Filmation and beyond in most of the canons.
Somebody sent them the memo.
Yeah.
And that was it. It's like, nope, he's this. That's all there is to it. And it is cool to see him showing up. And plus, the first issue we had the whole Zodak page that I remember going, oh, it's a page of Zodak. And then when you're reading the dialogue, you're like, this is actually really cool.
Yeah.
Like, when I was a kid, I didn't get it. But now I'm reading it going like, he's way more interesting than I ever remembered him as when I was a kid.
Yeah. He can
the older I've gotten.
He can be. He was one of those weird characters where it's like he was so ill-defined and he jumps sides and rolls in the early parts there, and I think he just kind of got brushed aside really quick.
Yeah.
You see him a lot in this early stuff, and in that, but after this, you don't really see him too much. Towards the end of the line, he disappears completely from the mythos.
Yeah, well, he's a really hard character because, like, he's a philosophical character.
Yeah.
He's not a character where, like, he comes with a giant fist or bee wings or, a grapple hook or whatever. He's a character that you and I could sit here and probably talk for an episode just about Zodak
right.
and his being neutral and what that actually means. Mm-hmm. And that's a story point. But when you actually put it into here's an action figure, kid.
Yeah.
What does he do?
Right.
He's the cosmic enforcer.
Yeah.
Anybody goes too far one way or the other, he steps in. They just look at him and they're like, and then they're back to He-Man because he's such a he's that character more than he is a physical action character. It's no wonder they didn't know how to work with him, and only in stories can you give him the chance to shine.
Yeah.
And, like, they did well with it, even though it wasn't this version. In 2000X, I thought they did well with it.
Yeah, because they made him a warrior there.
They made him a warrior.
Yeah.
And they made him a monk,
mm-hmm.
A monk warrior kind of character.
Right.
Because there's no way you could have a character that just shows up randomly and is like, I'm here to figure out what side to balance. It's like, okay, it's...
He is.
There's a lot of weirdness to that to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree completely, and that's why he gets phased out so quickly because no one just knows what to do with him or a way to make it compelling to kids. But he serves a good purpose here. He shows up in I just like that he shows up in the chair, like, and that that chair was always one of the coolest parts to me in Filmation, and when I finally saw it here, it's like that chair has become synonymous with Zodak to me.
And we still don't have it as an actual thing to put your figure in.
No.
Unless you want to do a custom. I've seen customs that are gorgeous, but
because
Mattel's just kind of like, we're not going to give you a chair. What are you, crazy?
And the funny thing is, in almost every iteration, it's basically based on that Castle Grayskull throne from the original toy. It's like,
yes,
which has always been interesting to me. You can easily play it off that it's a remnant of the Great Wars there, some of that old technology, and that's why it shows up in Castle Grayskull and here. But yeah, he's a character. The older you get, the cooler he gets. But as a kid, he was just the guy who showed up once in a while to help send He-Man on a mission.
It's like I'm just picturing, here's Zodak, and here's a philosophy book, kid.
Yeah.
Now you do your homework, and then you can play with this figure when you're done. And the kid's just like, what the hell? He's such a he's a good character in the stories. And if they did a video game where he was kind of your guide, and have that be. He just shows up on screen and delivers a message to let you have a direction to point in or whatever to help you. But as an actual action figure, it is kind of a what the crap. There is a so in that way, he as a kid, I remember he didn't leave the toy box too often. I had him, but he just didn't leave the toy box too often.
Yeah, no, I'm sure I played with him too. I had him, but yeah, I can't think of too many adventures with him. Not like Cyclone or Too Bad or Clawful or those guys that you could really beat him up with. But yeah, he shows up quite a bit in these early stories. He never shows up as that. Hell, I don't want to say never. He might have a couple times, but. It's funny because he started off as an evil bounty hunter character, and yet he never shows up in any stories like that. That was disregarded so quickly. I'd love to be able to track down some definitive proof of the behind the scenes thinking back then, because it's interesting how quickly he changed.
That's not just him too. I mean, you're talking bounty hunters. I mean, so was Trapjaw, or not Trapjaw, Triclops when we first met him.
I don't know. Zodak's just seems so much more drastic to me.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because Triclops, I mean, he went from evil bounty hunter to evil henchman, but he still stayed on that side, I guess. For Zodak to go from an evil bounty hunter to a neutral cosmic enforcer, it's like, wait, what?
They had a healthcare plan. As you like to make fun of me for the one episode where I did it, they had the Zodak Force. They had an HMO. Zodak Force. Something like that.
Go Zodak Force.
The Cosmic Enforcers had a dental plan.
Yeah.
So I like my teeth. He just went off with them. Hey, we got a chair. That's basically their whole thing. That's actually Zodak rides the cosmic waves on the dental chair from the Cosmic Enforcer dental office.
I love it.
And they're always chasing him like, you stole the chair. I love this. It belongs to me. And he flies off.
I love this chair. This is my stapler.
This is what happens at late at night, us doing this, because we're not able to do it in the mid mornings anymore.
No.
Here's our thoughts on Zodak, and it's about him stealing the Cosmic Enforcer dental chair. And now he's on the lam. It's like
well, back to the issue. So we've got this is 2 out of 3. Here again, so much story packed into this. I do love the action in it. The artwork is gorgeous. The colors, everything. Like I said, it's not my favorite version of He-Man, but I can get behind it. It's a well entertaining story. I like that they're trying to reconcile, the jungle origin with what they're doing now with the Atom origin, and they did it. It was a fine job. It's better than a lot of other attempts that have come later to rectify the different continuities. So
yeah.
But yeah, overall, it's a good action-packed read. You've got multiple action sequences. You've got a good story here. They're still not letting you know who's behind all this, but it's coming. You get little hints here and there. Well paced. I'm gonna go an 8 out of 10. This one was really a kick to read tonight. It really it really got me. It was a fun action-packed thing. I flew through it, and I think it was a very well put together issue.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing that it goes back to every time the first issue that we did and now this one is this set such a good blueprint for if you were a kid, you got this issue and you were reading the mini comics and you had the figures. This gave you so much fuel to just grab your action figures, go out in your yard, and just go nuts with your imagination, because it shows you there's castles, there's kings, there's also this hero that's doing stuff, but then there's magic and there's the depths of the oceans, and there's all this, like the beastmen attacking Avion, the flying monkey people of Avion even, and all that last in the first issue. And it just goes to show you in 2 issues the depth of how much this world is already. And
absolutely,
we're barely scratching the surface, and the fact that you get 3, not 1, not 2, 3 decent fights.
Yeah.
And all of which, nowadays, they would have probably been done in 2-page spreads of just, here's a big shot of He-Man and Battle Cat ripping into stuff. I love that in this you're getting panel by panel, play by play in that way and stuff like that. And artistically, it's great. What's up?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, just artistically, it's great. I'd say my only issue with this comes from the fact that there is an unknown evil, and I don't like that it's not Skeletor. and like in this issue, we do get a hint of what could be going on because of something that's alluded there. If you haven't read the 3rd issue, which at this point, if it's a spoiler, like it was for me to read the 3rd issue, because I never read it up until the last couple months.
Right.
You're lacking, because I felt lacking by not having read this. But at the same time, there's this element of when you get to that, there's like okay, this was never a figure, so why is this the case? Yeah. And that kind of drives me nuts. But I gotta meet your rating. I gotta give it an 8 out of 10, because this makes me want to grab my classics. Yep. And even though it's probably after midnight, I'm gonna go out and start playing with them in my front yard.
Yeah, no, it's a great issue, and the thing is, it never feels rushed. You never feel like you're getting shortchanged on story anywhere. If anything, they might drag it out a little too long in the talking. Really, like it's weird. It's a full story, but it's just such good pacing throughout.
It's an embarrassment of riches in a way for that reason.
It really is. How much is packed into these 3 issues, and yet nowadays we can't even get a good coherent story in 6 issues. It's
well,
it's sad.
if we're giving a nudge to the multiverse one, it's always, for me, it's always been every issue you go from different versions, and you're setting the stage each time. You're taking a lot away from pushing the story forward, in my opinion. Compared to in this one, you're just continuing that story. You're just moving on, and the 3rd issue is going to sum it up for you.
That's it.
And it gives you some room, some space to let the story just breathe, rather than jumping from plot point to plot point the way that it does sometimes.
And and I gotta say, I have not read the 3rd issue in quite a few years. So I have a vague recollection of it, but nothing concrete, because I have not reread it as we've been going through here, because I've been trying not to go too far. Trying to just enjoy each issue at a time. So I'll wait and read that until we come up on a date here where we're going to discuss that 3rd issue. That way it's nice and fresh, and I get those good reactions. So
it will probably be sooner than later, though, folks, because we want to make sure we got these together somewhere close by, rather than take how many episodes until we got back to this. But thank you, the postponement of multiverse, to make us go, hey, let's go back to the original stuff we started talking about.
Yeah, and I can't probably, maybe months. Who knows? Sometimes we just get onto these kicks where we're just like, well, let's go talk about this. That's the thing. Me, and I have been. Some people have reached out to me and asked, well, what's your next episode, what you got coming up in the pipeline. And I'm being honest here, guys. We don't know. We usually don't. We usually don't decide until like Monday or Tuesday before we record. Like,
Yep.
I think the multiverse has probably been the most planned out, just because we know those release dates, in advance, and we're like, well, we'll get those as they come out. But other than that, it's kind of like me and Shawn a couple days before will be like, yeah, are we gonna do what are we doing this week? I don't know. How about this? Okay, that sounds good.
It's been working so far. I mean, with like the subscribers and the followers, we got people that are like, let's just see what they come up with this week. So there you go.
And that's it. It's we wanna try and be in the mood to talk about something rather than force ourselves necessarily to talk about something that we're really not in the mood to talk about. So and I think it works this way. But and like I told other people, I said, you know what? If you have something you're looking for us to discuss, or something you'd like to see us discuss sooner rather than later, throw it in the comments down below. Throw it out on our Facebook page. Message me or Shawn personally and say, hey, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Because there are moments where we're both just kind of sitting here stuck, like, I don't know, I can't decide. So, yeah, throw us those suggestions, and we'll probably get to some of your stuff sooner rather than later. So
definitely, yeah.
If there's no more thoughts on issue 2 there, Shawn, I know you got a little something you're itching to talk
about. So one of our new followers and people that are with us on the group on Facebook is Matthew Rodriguez, and I told him I would give him a little plug. He is a big Masters of the Universe fan, and you can see that in his creator-owned books that he created. He has Defenders of Eden, issue 1 and issue 2, if I can get them on screen here properly. There we go.
Up a little more.
There we go. Up a little more. All right. So there
you go.
You just want me to hide my face.
No, I wanted to read the titles: Attack in Adonia and Machine and Magic.
So basically, he talked on Podcasters of the Universe about his thought process, and this came up as what would you do after filmation, like telling the story of Masters, but doing it where you're not having to go through He-Man, and here's this new generation, and what would they do using the legacy of the original generation? And he isn't ripping off Masters. This is his own work, but you can feel a lot of the heart and soul of what we grew up in these books. And he did a Kickstarter for both, and he got, I know it's been over 100% funded each time he does the Kickstarter. He writes it, and he has CJ Edwards on art, who is also on He-Man.org. He was doing a lot of the mashup of the DC universe with Masters of the Universe stuff as fan art, and he definitely shows huge talent visually in this issue. And Matt has this whole world in Eden that he's created, that each time that you read an issue, you're going to be exposed to more and more of his creativity and more of his love for what we love, Masters of the Universe. So I just want to put it out there. He's a good guy. If you want to get a copy or whatever, see if you can hit him up. And I don't know if he has extras that he's able to sell people, but if he does, I'm sure he'd be happy to hook people up. He hooked me up with the first issue before we ran a second Kickstarter for the second issue, and we had some fun geeking out together about that. So
yeah,
definitely a good guy.
I'll definitely have to hit him up, and I'll find a link, because I think he mentioned that he's got his 3rd issue Kickstarter going on now, I believe.
I honestly don't know if he had a 3rd one. He has a couple. He's actually started a couple different comic books. He has Defenders of Eden, and then he has one called Disciple 6. And then I think there's a new one he might be doing on top of that. I feel bad that I don't know that part, but his creator, the publishing name he uses is called Ideas from Mars up here.
Okay.
So you can look it up, Ideas from Mars.
Yep.
You could also talk Matthew Rodriguez or Defenders of Eden. There is a page on Facebook for that as well.
Yeah, that's what I was scrolling through. And I'll drop some links down below there too. I can definitely link to his Facebook page, because I was on there before. And then I'll see if I can find that Ideas from Mars imprint, and maybe I can link people directly to that too. So check out those. It looks like some cool stuff. I was just scrolling through briefly this afternoon, looking through some character designs, and there's some neat looking guys in there. So I'm curious to see what else he's got. So I'll definitely be getting a hold of him.
I actually have to draw one of his main characters in there for the 6 fan arts thing that's going around Facebook right now. Yep. So he's got to be next on my list to do, just for the fact that I plugged the book now. It's like, now I got to do that. I got to get it on there. So
I did like that Adora you did. That was a nice little sketchy Adora. She's got a lot of energy. I like that. So
welcome to me at midnight, sitting down and doing that while I'm trying to watch Star Wars, the Rise of Skywalker, while I'm also running on 3 hours of sleep.
Nobody wants.
I think that looks like Adora.
No,
she's got eyes. That's great.
No, it was a good style, man. You got even your sketch style is good. So sometimes you just need to pound some stuff out there. Just get those pencils flowing.
yeah. Get the clutter out of the head and then just go for it.
Yep. So he got that one done in about 2 weeks. So we'll have the 6 completed in about a year, 2 years.
The 6 will be done by Christmas, and then I'll actually ink them by maybe 4th of July next year. Whenever the coronavirus ban finally lifts off the entire world, whatever.
You gotta love it. Absolutely. So, it's just that time. So check out those links down below. Join us over on Facebook. Like, subscribe, share, ring that bell so you know when we're premiering a new episode. If you ring that bell, you'll know when I jump on live, which is very random and sporadic. But it'll end up getting more so here. I know me and Shawn, we got some things we want to do here and grow the channel. And as we get some more episodes under our belt, we'll be playing around with stuff like that a bit more. Shawnee, anything else?
The only other thing, we always say it, but I'm going to say it again. The part of the community is, if you got something that you want us to talk about, you want to throw something our way that's off the format, feel free, because that also makes it awesome. We have some people that are now interacting on YouTube, which is great. People interacting on the org, which is also great. And the more the merrier. This is us having fun. It's a fan podcast, and join us for the ride. Throw some stuff at us to make us go, I never thought of that before. So
absolutely.
But other than that, that's about it for me. So check out Matthew Rodriguez's stuff, and go read these first 3 DC comics. These are great. So.
Absolutely. All right. So with that, I'll just leave it as until next time.
Until next time.